This is gonna be good. What's up, Jet Team? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name's Ryan. I'm a former F-15E combat fighter pilot, F-16 Thunderbird pilot, and current commercial pilot, and I use that experience to break down epic aviation videos and stories. And someone on the BJet Clean Instagram asked if I could break down the Viper demo team. So what I'm gonna do is just share a few thoughts with you on the Viper demo team as we watch some cockpit footage from a recent air show. This is gonna be just incredible footage. I'm so excited that you're here. I got to rip around in the Viper for about 3 years, and that thing is a rocket ship. So stay to the very end of this video to get my final thoughts on how the F-16 performs. I'm excited to share that with you. But before we get going, if you would, just dominate that like button for me and maybe even subscribe. Every time you like and subscribe, a pilot somewhere gets their wings. With that said, let's dive into the Viper demo team. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, your left, Major Baker and F-16 Fighting Falcon.
Okay, the announcer called it the Fighting Falcon. We'll give him a pass on this one. It's the Viper. A lot of Viper pilots, they don't like the term Fighting Falcon. To me, it just doesn't sound as cool. I'm gonna have to agree with them. So when it comes to the Viper itself, guys, this thing is kind of like a crotch rocket. It's like a motorcycle that you can just snap your finger, and it's got so much acceleration that just throws you back in your seat. And then it can pull G's in an incredible way because you can accelerate at 9 G's, which is insane. So you can be 400 miles an hour, pulling 9 G's and accelerate. So you gotta make sure you're on the G strain. So what you'll see this pilot do is a lot of G straining throughout this demonstration. Let's keep checking it out. Okay, so on the Thunderbirds, we would do over-the-top maneuvers. And when you went over the top, you would have to call your altitude and your speed to make sure you had the right parameters to be able to carry it through and not hit the ground. Obviously on this one, this pilot goes over the top, but then rolls out. So it's essentially like an Immelman. So I like maneuvers like this because they set you up in a great position to come back around to the show line and have a lot of situational awareness, as you can see the pilot looking out of the cockpit there. So that was the pilot executing the max turn. And the point of that max turn is to get the smallest radius possible for your turn when you're in a dogfight. So if you can do that, then you can just turn and burn and shoot down whoever you're fighting against. So the way that this thing does that, it's just built for dogfighting. And that's kind of the purpose behind the F-16. It was built to shoot down other airplanes and be nimble and maneuverable. So much fun. So that's what's called a flip turn. It's like a misdirection. So if you're gonna turn left, you basically start to the right and then go left. Just looks cool from the crowd perspective, and it's really fun to do as well.
Positions as aircraft and demonstrates the low altitude, high speed capability of the F-16.
So you can kind of see the pilot doing this, but something that I learned early on when I started dogfighting in the F-16 is you got to turn your head, set it, and then pull G. And then ease off the G, reorient your head, and then pull G again. And that's what this pilot's doing as they're looking back at the show line. They're looking back and seeing the run-in line that they want to hit. But if you move your neck while you're pulling G, not going to be a good day. The triple roll is a super cool maneuver. I got to do this, not this low, I did it up at altitude. And you can see the pilot kind of grab on to the handrail on the canopy there. That way you're kind of holding yourself in position. So he sets the throttle, puts his hand on the canopy to steady himself, and then does 3 rolls. There's a limitation with the Viper as well, that you don't do more than 3 of these due to something that could happen with the flight control system that could essentially make you lose a lot of altitude. And I saw that happen when I was on the Thunderbirds. Luckily, everybody was okay because we were up at a higher altitude, but that's why the triple roll is the triple roll and not the quadruple roll. So that's that min radius turn I was telling you about earlier. You can actually accelerate at 400 knots and 9 Gs. So you gotta be really careful. You gotta make sure you're on your G strain and you can't let up, because if you were to let up on your G strain as you're accelerating, your Gs are not going to go down until you ease off the stick. So that's when you can get into a G lock situation. So getting on top of it at the very beginning, that's a pro tip. To me, the 4-point roll is a ton of fun. So when I executed that on the Thunderbirds, again, it was up at a higher altitude than this, but what I would focus on is the horizon. So if you try to do it with your instruments, it's just not gonna work out right. You're gonna be in your head too much. At the end of the day, you gotta get outside, look at the big horizon out there, and then align yourself with that. Just a really fun maneuver to do, and it's really cool when you get good at it, but I'll say it takes a lot of practice, but you could get good at it as well with enough sorties. All right, awesome. We will pause there with that high-speed pass, and then he kind of turns it into a knife edge pass at the end, and that's when you kind of roll the jet up on its side. And when you have enough speed and you've got that type of thrust, you can just climb or basically maintain your altitude for a little while you're completely sideways. So sweet. This jet, guys, is like a little mini rocket ship. I loved strapping this thing onto myself, and the way that you can max perform it once you do it a few times, it's just a thing of beauty, if I don't say so myself. And back to the Viper demo team, they're a great group of people. They've actually got this new paint job out there. If you haven't seen it yet, it's the scales of a Viper and the thing just looks epic. So definitely go check them out if you get the chance. And having a single ship demonstration team, especially this Viper team, it's incredibly nimble. So they can go places that the Thunderbirds couldn't go because you're taking one aircraft. So a lot less maintenance support, a lot less tanker support. So they can go do cool little air shows around the world that maybe would be harder for the Thunderbirds to get all 8 of their jets to knock out. So really stoked that the Viper demo team is out there raging. And for you, please go check them out. They're a great show. Thank you so much for being here, Jet Team. Really excited to share this video with you. If you have any other ideas for videos, just shoot those to me on my Instagram. Would love to hear from you. Most of all, thanks for being here. Please dominate that like button before you go and have a great day.